What's up, right-wing boomers and famous groomers? Yofa here, the rank 1 glue sniffer. Today we're talking about the upcoming rumored Genshin killer, Wuthering Waves. Now, as you can tell from my accent, I have never played a gacha game before. But wait, before you click off, I believe I can offer a pretty objective viewpoint when it comes to predicting the future of this game. Because quite frankly, nobody cares when some 400 subscriber Andy overhypes a video game. So I might as well give you the cold hard facts. Let's get things straight. How hyped is Wuthering Waves currently? To show that, we're gonna use Google Trends. Now I know Google Trends is not the best, but it's the best thing we got. At the time of recording this, it is May 20th, and this data is so a day old. As we can see here, the game is rapidly approaching the popularity of Genshin. Now this is only Google Trends, and that definitely does not tell the whole story, but this is a very good indicator and also a data point that we can use to better predict the future of this game. I personally think there are only 3 possible ways this game could go. So let's talk about the first one. The first one and the worst one for people who love this game. Absolute failure. The only way this game could truly fail is if Kuro Games stops listening to their community. Currently, they're doing a really good job of listening, but there is no guarantee that this will continue. Once this game gets bigger, the lines of communication could just be so long between development team and the actual, CEOs, the top dogs, what are the office chairs, the suits. This could absolutely decimate the current communication loop that Kuro Games has between the players and the company. Let me read you a bit of this text and see if it sounds familiar to you. Prior to release, BioWare and EA actively engage with the community, sharing detailed previews, hosting AMAs, and providing regular updates about the game's features and vision. The development team made ambitious promises about the game's dynamic world, deep narrative, and the robust endgame content, building significant hype. Now, if you just change the developer to Kuro Games, this sounds exactly like Wuthering Waves. I don't know exactly how deep they go into the lore, cause I haven't really researched that part, but the rest of the points pretty much apply the same. Compared to Genshin, they promise more endgame content. Compared to Genshin, they promise cooler combat that's much more skill-based. So this all sounds great. What is the game that's even being talked about? Well, it is Anthem. When the game released, it wasn't in the best of condition, but people still held out hope as they saw the potential of Anthem. Sadly, the potential was never realized as EA pretty much stopped communicating with the players, and so the game just inevitably failed. Now we can circle back to Wuthering Waves. I personally believe you can't even play the game on day 1 because the servers are too overcrowded, but that isn't too big of a detriment because if Kuro Games communicates the issues with the community, then that's fine, right? At the end of the day, for game development companies, the bar is incredibly low. They just need to communicate their issues and show that they care about the issues currently at hand. And if that happens, then I don't see the game instantly failing because there are a lot of people who want to see this game succeed. Still, one thing I want to mention that could slow down the growth of Wuthering Waves are the big system requirements. The appeal of a free-to-play game should be the fact that it's easy to run your system and anybody can run it. Kuro is trying to cast the widest net possible to grab as many people. I can guarantee you, these system requirements will screw out the chunk of the player base, and I personally believe that chunk will be noticeable. Sorry, one more quick point on how this game can fail. If Kuro Games starts listening too much to the public outrage, the game might lose its identity and then nobody wants to play it. Because average people have no idea how to make a good game. So Kuro Games needs to have enough confidence not to listen to every single outrage. So the probability of scenario 1 happening, low, very low. Now let's talk about the most likely option. Wuthering Waves will be a competitor of Genshin, but it's gonna be a smaller than Genshin. It's gonna have its own thriving community with a very respectable size. When you think of a battle royale, you think of Fortnite, but there is also Apex Legends and PUBG. The same thing I think is going to happen here. Genshin Impact will be the open world gacha game, and Wuthering Waves will be an open world gacha game. Wuthering Waves offers things Genshin doesn't, and because of that, it can quickly cultivate a core audience. Also, we need to mention the fact that gacha games have a lot more cross-pollination compared to other genres of gaming. If you're playing Fortnite, you're not playing Apex. If you're playing Dota, you're not playing League. If you're playing Honkai Star Rail, you could be very easily playing Genshin as well. This cross-pollination definitely helps the game grow more. That's why I believe it will carve out its niche. It's gonna be smaller than Genshin, but it's gonna be healthy, it's gonna be nice, and it's gonna be a successful game. And I think everybody's gonna be happy. So let's talk about the third possibility. Wuthering Waves becomes the biggest gacha game and gets more popular than Genshin. First of all, I want to preface this, that I think this scenario is the least likely one to happen, but let's daydream a little, shall we? Dota had a chokehold on the MOBA genre. Then came League of Legends. Even though it didn't come in first, it's still the most popular MOBA of all time. The same with Battle Royale. We had H1Z1, then PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds blew up the whole Battle Royale genre, and after that came Fortnite, arguably the second most famous game in the world after Minecraft. Is there a first mover's advantage in gaming? Yes, absolutely there is, but oftentimes the first to move to a genre are not the biggest ones. And my previous examples prove that. Gaming is not like Twitch, where Twitch moved here first and is now king of the hill. The quality of games is constantly rising. There are more developers each year, the technology is getting cheaper and more accessible. So that's why people have a much less of a tribe mentality when they are playing games. Sure, it does exist, but it's much less of the vocal minority, the people on Reddit, the people on Twitter. The average player is not engaged in the community. The average player goes there where it's having the most fun. With the added endgame content and more difficult combat that Wuthering Waves adds, there is a small chance that the gameplay loop becomes addicting enough for it to surpass Genshin. Like I mentioned before, the likelihood of this happening is very small, because oftentimes in a situation where a game blows up, the stars just align. Genshin had lockdown. Fortnite's Battle Royale mode was just a side project. And with R6, sure, the game wasn't dying, but it got massively boosted by just a single content creator. But hey, maybe lightning strikes gacha twice. As I told you before, the most likely chances that Genshin is gonna be just like Fortnite, the biggest one of the genre, and Wuthering Waves is just gonna be like Apex Legends. Anyways, that is basically all I had to say about Wuthering Waves. If you have other thoughts about the game or predictions, I would really like to know, especially from people who have played gacha before. As I've said, this is gonna be my first gacha game, so I made predictions not on how much of the inside, but much more on the outside, how it looks. Anyways, this is it, so I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!